The cabin in the woods, I didn't think much of it when I first arrived. Just a cabin in the woods, a quiet getaway from the noise of city life, a chance to clear my head and reconnect with nature. But that thought, that simple idea of retreating to somewhere remote, took on a different shape the longer I stayed. It was late when I arrived, the sun barely hanging onto the edge of the horizon as I pulled my car up the narrow dirt road. The GPS had guided me here, but I was starting to feel a bit unsure. There was no sign marking the cabin, just a rough driveway leading into the thick woods, and then the small structure hidden behind trees. It looked like a place that had been forgotten, as if time had stopped here long ago. I parked my car and stepped out. The air was fresh but crisp, colder than I'd expected for early fall. My breath puffed out in little clouds, and the distant rustling of leaves in the wind added a kind of eerie echo to the quiet. I grabbed my bag from the trunk and took one last glance at the road I had just driven down. It was dark now, with the last bit of daylight fading, and I couldn't help but feel the overwhelming isolation of the place. The cabin was small, one story, weathered wood, a slanted roof. The porch creaked underfoot as I made my way up to the front door, and with a quick twist of the key in the lock, I pushed it open. Inside, the cabin smelled like old wood and something slightly musty. The floors creaked under my weight, and the dim light from the single bulb above didn't do much to brighten the space. A fireplace stood on one side of the room, unlit, and a couch that looked like it had seen better days sat across from it. There were a few mismatched chairs, a small table in the corner, and a single bed tucked in the back. The place had clearly been used as a retreat before, but it wasn't exactly a luxury spot. I threw my bag onto the bed and immediately started unpacking. The chill of the night made it uncomfortable, so I decided to get the fire going before I did anything else. There was a small stack of drywood in the corner, and after a few attempts, I managed to get the fire started with the old matches and kindling. The flames flickered to life, casting a warm glow over the room, and for a moment, I let myself relax. The warmth spread through the cabin, making the place feel less abandoned, more cozy, like the small retreat I'd been hoping for. But as the fire crackled, I couldn't shake this odd feeling, a sensation I couldn't put my finger on. It was as if the cabin itself was watching me, waiting. I brushed it off. I wasn't going to let some weird feeling ruin my time here. I grabbed my phone, planning to check the time and maybe text someone, but I realized there was no signal. That wasn't a huge surprise. I'd known this place was off the grid when I booked it. Still, it felt like one more thing separating me from the world. I set the phone down and stretched out on the couch, staring into the fire. The crackling of the wood filled the silence, but then I thought I heard something else. A soft thud. I looked up, my body tensing. There was nothing. The house was silent again. The sound had come from outside, maybe just a branch falling or an animal wandering too close to the cabin. But the sudden shift in atmosphere had me on edge. I stood and walked over to the window, pulling the curtains back just a little. The woods were dark, the trees stretching up like black fingers reaching into the night sky. I scanned the area, but I didn't see anything unusual. No movement, no signs of life. Just the dense forest, the wind whispering through the trees. After a minute, I pulled the curtains shut again and returned to the fire, but that unease lingered, gnawing at the back of my mind. It felt wrong. I decided to ignore it. I had come out here to be alone, to think. So, I made myself a cup of tea, ate some dinner, and read a book for a while, trying to relax. The fire was burning low now, the room colder than before. I piled more wood onto it, watching the flames leap up once more. The night dragged on, and at some point, I decided to head to bed. I didn't want to, but the exhaustion from the drive and the day caught up with me. The bed was simple, just a mattress on a frame, but it was comfortable enough. I turned off the light and pulled the covers over